From retro to next gen, we've got it all. I'm George, a Gen X grown-up, and this is Bit by Bit. Here's a fun little historical bit from our friends over at GamesRadar.com. Somebody has recounted the story of how a very strange Zelda commercial was made, even though Nintendo wasn't real happy with it. So this comes to us from GamesRadar.com, but they found it on Video Game History Foundation and Time Extension, so I want to give them credit as well. But essentially, this executive is talking about this. Now, they were at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. Hey, guys, those are some friends of ours here at Gen X Grown Up. We love their convention. They do a great job of it. And she was speaking about this ad that got created. Gail Tilden was her name. It starred John Kassir. Now, I know John Kassir from two things. Number one, Star Search, an old TV show back in the day with Ed McMahon. But number two, as the voice of the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt. That's where I know John Kassir the most from. Anyway, he's in this video, and you can click it and watch it from here, and it is creepy. He's in like a padded cell, kind of like he's going insane, and he's just screaming Zelda everywhere. Anyway, it's not what they thought it was going to be. They got on set, they saw this whole thing, they were like, I can't go through with this, but I guess it might have gotten out somehow because you can watch it on YouTube right now. All right, here's an emulation bit for my friends over at XDA. They want to give you a list here of the 4 best operating systems you should consider for retro gaming emulation. We're going to start right off on the list with RetroPie. That's a no-brainer. It's pretty straightforward. A lot of people love it and use it. We've got some images here to show you how the interface works and the front end and everything. It's very popular, obviously, on the Raspberry Pi, hence the name RetroPie. We know it. But it's a pretty good solid system. I might rank it a little bit higher than 4 out of 4 on my list, but let's go down. They've got Laka as number 3. I think I would reverse those. I think Laka would be my number 4, and RetroPie might be my number 3, but maybe it's just because I have a little bit more experience with RetroPie. Anyway, it's got a little bit of, it may not support as many systems out of the box as Batocera, which you guys can probably guess we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the list. But it integrates directly with RetroArch, which is very cool. This is the one on the list. Yeah, I agree with them. I didn't see Windows coming on the list. I thought for sure this was going to be all Android and Pi OSs, but they make some good points. Everything runs pretty well in emulation on a Windows box. Dolphin, PCS X2, MAME. That's what this PC that I'm recording this on is, and yeah, I run a lot of my emulation straight from here. It's convenient, it's easy, it's built into my PC when I bought it, so yeah. And then, of course, number 1, Batocera. This is the one that everybody's trying to take to the dance these days. It's super popular. It's a great front end for RetroArch, like they say here. It pretty much supports everything. It's open source. You can't really go wrong with Batocera. So this is a good, solid list. I'm surprised they only put 4 items on the list, but, you know, at least they're good, solid recommendations. So take a look at this. We'll have the article link down in the description. All right, here's a curious bit from tomshardware.com. There is a store online out there that is still selling original Atari parts, and they've been in business for over 41 years. Now, buyer beware. I went and took a look at this site. The first thing that it did when I clicked on it, it popped up, said, sorry, can't find the site. Then it redirected to something that looked like it was built in the early 90s. So maybe it's legit and they just haven't changed anything. Maybe it's not. But they've been around for 41 years, according to this article. They claim to have spent $100,000 in engineering development, and they got most of their supply when Atari went bankrupt. They actually bought all the equipment and stuff from one of the facilities nearby. Now, the article has some images here. I'll just click through them real quick for you. This is some of their catalogs, and you can see, like, look at this. Some old Atari tape recorders for programming. I mean, it's just brilliant stuff. Look at these joysticks over here. Look at this. Recondition Best S5 Lifetime Super Pot Pong Paddle. Look at that. That's freaking cool as hell. I don't know if they're legit or not, but I think it's worth checking out. I don't know, maybe just get a like an Ally account or something, put $30 in there just to make sure they can't get a hold of my regular credit card or something. But they've got, all kinds of stuff listed on this site. It's really interesting. If you want to read more, head over to tomshardware.com and check this article out. They'll have the link over to Best Electronics, and who knows, maybe you might find something that you've been searching for over 40 years. Here's another bit from our friends over at TimeExtension.com. Turns out somebody is announcing a new Nintendo 64 console to be released later this year, and they're doing it in a kind of unique way. They're asking us to maybe pick the logo with a Matrix-style red or blue pill situation, I guess. So the person who's doing this is a guy named Palmer Luckey. He released the Mod Retro Chromatic last year for like $200, I think it was, or something like that. And because he did that, and it's based on FPGA technology, Time Extension here is theorizing that this new Nintendo 64 clone will probably be in the same realm, which means it's going to go up against the Analog 3D, which is also due out later this year. Nothing more on cost or when it will be released. They do mention that I guess it's, this guy, Palmer Luckey, is a divisive character in American politics. I'm not going to go into that, but there is a link here that takes you to an article. You can read a little bit more about that if you want to. I did myself, but again, we don't get political here at GenXGrownUp. We just like to have fun and play games, and I'm always interested in some Nintendo 64. It was a great console, and now there's 2 new clones that are coming out this year. Boy, it's a good time to be a retro gamer, isn't it? Here's a bit from HardcoreGamer.com. Atari is reviving a legendary classic, Missile Command Delta. Now, one of the main reasons why I knew about this thing coming up is because John did a review video just the other day about the new trailer that popped. It just dropped out of nowhere, and we weren't really expecting it, but it was pretty awesome. I'll put a link up here in the corner for you to go check that out. But this article here delves into that trailer and a little bit more of stuff that they found out from behind the scenes. This is going to be more of a turn-based strategy game than it is like a first-person fast shooter type of thing. So that's pretty cool. Looks like there's going to be some other stuff going on that's going to change the whole thing. It's going to be a little bit more story-driven, narrative kind of thing. So it's definitely going to be different than what we remember from the original one. It's not going to be one of these recharged, reskinned things that Atari has been doing lately. This is like a full-blown game, and they've got some cool images here from the press release. Very interesting looking stuff, but definitely after you go check out this article, go check out that video that John has talking about the trailer and his reaction to it. It's well worth the time. That's going to do it for the news making headlines in the gaming world right now. I am George, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep on bringing you the news bit by bit.